Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, and good evening, Robin. Okay, actually, I think that everyone is so interested in Robin. So therefore, we arrange this kind of short conversation and to make myself and to make you all know Robin better. And we can have deep understanding about her lecture later. So therefore, here comes my questions. Because this seminar is about the leadership and the management, therefore we will ask you to share your experience as a leader. Especially, we divided into our questions into 3 parts. The first one is about self-leadership, and the second one is about the visionary leadership, and the third one is about strategic leadership. And here comes the first question. As mentioned, you all know that Robin has very diversified and different experiences. You as an engineer and as an MBA student, and I know you even do some kind of marketing job before. And I just wonder, as I think students will also have the similar questions. What's your inner discipline or inner principle to lead you into so many different areas? And how can you gain so much success in different areas? Okay.
Thank you. So first of all, I'm going to use English. I hope that's okay. 因为我中文讲得不是很顺。
等一下 ，Robin， yeah， 我稍微打断一下，就是说，我在问的时候，我会用中英文都问一遍这样子。我想说这样子让大家更 involved。那可能 Robin 会用英文的方式回答大家这样。那我刚刚的问题是，我相信很多学生都很关心，因为 Robin， 你们看他的经历是有电机背景，也有 MBA 背景。然后他之前是 engineer 方面的工程师这样，而且他也做过 marketing 的工作。我问的问题是说，他怎么能够如此多元化进入不同领域？他内在领导他自己进入这么多不同领域的准则是什么？因为我们今天想要问的问题是关于自我领导议题、策略领导议题以及愿景领导的问题。那第一个是关于自我领导议题，我们问一下 Robin 这样。
可以吗？好，谢谢。So first of all, I want to say thank you to 交通大学，还有小老师、林老师、黄老师来请我过来跟你们讲。Thank you for coming to hear me speak. And 刚刚讲的那个是九文，你可以来 Airbnb 做，因为你做得很好。So 谢谢 ，Thank you。好，那我现在开始用英文，好 ，OK。So thank you for that question. First, I'm very honored because you called me successful. And I think success is defined differently by each person. So for me, success is defined by, do I make my parents and my friends proud? I also believe that if I have very good work-life balance, then I'm a very happy person, I'm very fulfilled. Also, I define success by being able to make an impact on my community and on the world. So by that definition, I feel like I'm on track to be successful for myself. So how do I become the person I am today, and how do I handle leadership? So from when I was a young kid, I was always very curious. I always want to learn, and I always want to get better. So every time my mom asked me to do something, I would say, how can I make this better? How can I make myself better? So I think of it as I have 5 C's, okay? So the first C is I'm always open to change. So I'm not stuck in one way. I'm very flexible. Some things you can't plan, and you have to be ready to accept it. 2 is I'm always curious. I always want to learn more. So that leads me into continual learning and skills building. So I'm always practicing new things. I'm watching YouTube to learn new skills. Most recently, I learned how to play guitar from YouTube, and I like to read a lot. That brings me to my 4th C, which was to stay connected. So I'm always staying on top of business trends. I read a lot of articles online, and I stay in touch with my friends. So in fact, I have a technology group. Every Saturday we meet for breakfast, and we talk about new trends, artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. All of that is very interesting to me. And then last but not least, but perhaps the most important thing, is to take on challenges. So you have to be open to conflict and challenges in order to make yourself better. And that's really the only way I've been able to build my career, is to keep changing and keep challenging myself. I'll give you one example of how I did that. So early on, I was in semiconductors. I used to come to Hsinchu Research Park a lot. I worked with, it's called 应用材料公司, which is applied materials. And my customer was Taijidian. I'm sure some of you have heard of Taijidian, huh? So I love Hsinchu. I'm very happy to be back here. I started out as an engineer. I love to build things and to test it and to figure out how to make machines better. But what I also like is to work with customers. I love to talk to people who are in the business and understand how to sell things, how to make a product better, how to make customers happier, how to grow a business, how to expand it to another country. And my company saw that. I also like that too. So they asked, who wants to be in business management? And without a question, I said, me, I want to do it. So then I ended up becoming Taijidian, the account manager. And I got to travel to Taiwan a lot to work on accounts. That was my first transition to business. My second transition was through an MBA. So I used an MBA to pivot me to other types of jobs. So these are just 2 examples of when I was open to change and open to challenge. And I always say to my friends, I have a lot of luck in my life, but I'm not saying I'm lucky. I have luck. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. You prepare yourself so that when opportunity comes, you can do this. Yeah.
So, okay. Actually, I think students can learn a lot from your philosophy. And here comes the second question about the visionary question. 关于那个愿景领导的问题，就 Airbnb 之前大家都熟知的是它是一个很多的共享经济，很多人在上面就是出租，大家最熟知的就是出租他的家当做 share economy 这样。可是我相信很多人都观察到 Airbnb 逐渐转型成更多的 unique experience and local connections 这样。然后这是一个转型，就是从一个共享经济平台转变成是一个服务的体验的旅游体验的平台这样。那我们想要请 Robin 跟我们分享说，面临这样的转变，究竟 Airbnb 在这10年来的 vision 就是什么？I ask you about you before at the beginning you are the platform as a shared economy. You know, many people book the hotels on the internet, but we know that your company gradually, explore into the areas about local connections and unique experience. And we want to know that the vision of Airbnb, especially in Taiwan, in the following decade.
Yeah, so earlier you heard from Joanne on the introduction of Airbnb. We've been around for almost 10 years, but we're still very much like a startup. So we're still innovating and we want to keep growing. And in fact, we want to grow in Asia Pacific and especially in places like Taiwan. So Asia Pacific is one of our fastest growing regions and we're very underpenetrated here. That means that there's so much more opportunity to help people stay on Airbnb and to get involved in the economy sharing platform. But the way we want to keep growing is we really want to help everyone feel like they can belong anywhere. And sometimes people don't have homes and they don't have apartments to share, but maybe they have skills or experiences to share. So we launched something called Experiences. Experiences is handcrafted activity where you can share your skill set or your talent or your passion with someone else who wants to learn about it. So for instance, if you like to cook, maybe you can teach someone some cooking lessons. Or if you like to surf, you can take someone to go surfing and you teach them how to get up on the board and how to ride the wave. And we think that by providing this, people can really feel like they're living like a local in places like Taiwan and understand what the connection means, the human connection means. So in the next 10 years, the vision is to keep making travel more magical and easier for everyone. And we really believe that we can provide the end-to-end trip. It's not just about where you stay now. People want to know what they're going to do, the people they meet, where they're going to go. They want help to do that. And if you travel a lot, you'll know that planning travel takes a lot of time. It also takes a lot of investment, and it can stress people out. We want to make it easier, but at the same time, we don't want it just to be cookie cutter, the same as every other trip. We want you to remember it so that when you look back on the journey, you know, I stayed in this lovely home with this host, or I stayed near the water where I got to go paddleboarding every day, or I stayed with this couple who's so amazing, they got married and they invited me to their wedding. Like, these kind of connections are what Airbnb wants to provide, and that's part of the big vision for the next 10 years.
So we all look forward to it. And then the third question about the strategic leadership. As you know, as discussed, Airbnb will experience some kind of transformations. You know, you are experiencing now, you know, a kind of transformation from the shared economy to the unique traveling experience you mentioned. I think there are a lot of strategic work you need to do inside your organizations. And I want to know this kind of strategic transformation you do and a strategic policy you now for preparing the vision you mentioned just a moment ago. We all look forward to the unique experience during the travel, and I really want to learn how do you implement the strategic now.
Yeah, so I think the first thing I said earlier is to be open to change. And at Airbnb, there's many changes every single day. And that's the only way you can continually innovate, right? So you want to challenge yourself to be in a dynamic environment, take on new ideas. But how do you do this, right? So I think one way is we have to stay entrepreneurial. And that means not only in your action, but your mindset. And at Airbnb, we call it a growth mindset. A growth mindset means that when opportunity comes your way, you're able to take on the problem and you can figure out different ways to solve for it. You don't give up just because it's not part of what you know or it's not part of what you're supposed to do. The alternative to a growth mindset is called a fixed mindset. And we really believe that these days, especially if you're in the millennial generation, that you should have a growth mindset so that you're ready and willing to take on these new problems, these exciting ideas, and to do more in your career or at school. And so at Airbnb, we really believe in having an entrepreneurial environment. The other thing is that I mentioned change earlier. So whenever we launch new products or we get into a new industry or get into a new country, a new market, or have new challenges with the local government or new challenges with a local customer, we have to be ready to take that on and not to give up. And one thing that we often go through is change management. And that's where an organization will change the structure, the way it works. And the way we handle this is by having clear communication. We're a very transparent company. In all of my jobs as a leader, I always try to make sure I have a very healthy and trusted relationship with my employees. We always have very transparent communication, and it's very respectful. And we also have processes. So for instance, you can organize things better by having a clear process for everyone to be a part of. And that's one way you can handle organizational change. But I think at the very end of the day, it's about bringing people along to have that mindset to be ready for the change.
Okay. Final question is, I think many people here, the young people also have a similar question with you. With me, I mean the following question， 就是关于那个世代建立组织文化的问题。因为刚刚 Robin 说，我相信就是在所谓的他们要达到这样的愿景，他们未来要体验的，就是在要呈现一个深度的旅游体验的话，事实上公司正在经历一连串的策略改变。他刚刚有提到这样，那势必这些策略改变其实需要蛮好的、蛮严格的纪律，或是一个非常负责任态度去完成这样子的执行，就是公司要往这个方向走的话，那我们知道说这个 young generation， 尤其是各位在座的年轻人，你们喜欢的文化 ，business 文化是非常的开放，然后非常的 非常有创造力。可是，在整个组织在改革过程当中，其实它是必须非常严谨的，而且它是必须要承担责任的。那我不晓得说 Robin 对于这样子2种不同的组织文化，现在在 Airbnb 里面的情况是怎么样？那怎么样鼓励这些年轻人能够充分的适应这2种，同时要具备的一个健全组织必须同时拥有了2种组织文化这样。I said that in order to have a strategic change, you mentioned you need to have I mean the business culture must be some kind of follow the discipline, and sometimes you need to take the full accountability, and sometimes a kind of a strict business culture. But the young generation enjoy the kind of business culture as open, transparency, and creativity, and the mutual communication. How do you balance as a leader? How do you balance this kind of 2 different cultures? And what kind of words you will say to the young generation when they want to get used to into the Airbnb's culture?
So I think you said one key word, balance. I think it's very important to balance these 2 types of culture. One way is to ensure you have diversity in the workforce. So it's important to have people who have experience, who may be slightly more tenured, have seen different companies, have come from different backgrounds. It's also very important to have people who are fresh, new out of school, people who have new ideas, a hunger for trying new things. And if we can combine these 2 different cultures, I think that'll be very key. But I know it's hard to get there because I deal with it every day. So I think some of the best examples of what I've seen from companies is when a large company can stay a startup, or when a startup can actually work like a big company. That combination is very interesting. And I think of Airbnb as a startup that's also growing up. So I see that we're trying to balance that every single day. I would say last but not least, don't underestimate empathy. So every time someone is thinking, oh, this is not what I want from a culture, or this is not what I expected, think about it from the other side. What is your manager feeling? What is your teacher feeling? What are your parents thinking? What are your other colleagues thinking as well? If you put yourself in their shoes, I think it makes for a healthier workplace. I do think that when we are empathetic and we have diversity, we can have a more balanced workplace. And every single day I'm practicing this. We have a core value at Airbnb, and it's called be a host. Host is someone who rents out their home or their place for people to stay in. And we believe if you be a host, you're listening, you're being empathetic, you're welcoming others, and you're collaborating. So I do think this is the key thing to all companies that want to grow and be around for the future.
Okay, just remember the good suggestion from Robin. She said be a host. So now it's our turn to be the host, and you are our guest speaker to deliver a wonderful speech later on. So okay, so we just give a pause to Robin to welcome her wonderful speech. Thank you, everyone.